Fellow Spartans, how you doing and welcome to this impressions video of the recently released introducing spotlights on the Dwarves for Total War Warhammer. And our apologies, I know it's a bit late in me covering this, but I wanted to put together my thoughts on it as I've been really looking forward to seeing these ever since the game was announced and we found out that they're going to be a playable faction. I know as well there's been a lot of optimism and promise from the community about them as well, so it's good to see that CA are moving their coverage and focus to the Dwarves after their earlier marketing of the Empire. So very much like the Demogryph Knights and the Luminarch of Hysh videos, CA have now released, which you can see looping in the background, some concept art and high polygon renders of weapons and Dwarven warriors, which by the way look absolutely beautiful. You gotta agree with me on that one. They look really good, incredibly detailed, and also there is a link to the actual video from Creative Assembly in the description of this video as well if you haven't seen it already. So as I said, I've been excitedly waiting for these guys to be shown for a while now, and after seeing them I'm looking forward to seeing more from them, and that hopefully won't be too far away, as he did mention at the end of this video that a trailer will be coming soon for the Dwarves. So I anticipate that will be a lot like the in-engine sort of cinematic trailer that we had for Cold Franz a while back. And I don't know what it is, but the race of Dwarves have always caught my eye in other fantasy worlds and stories. It's probably because they are such brave warriors with their fantastic looking armour and weaponry, and they build such breathtaking underground mountain kingdoms that look absolutely amazing. Now the actual units you can see in the concept art and models are three particular Dwarven units, and these are the Longbeards, who are the oldest and most experienced Dwarves. On the battlefield where panic and confusion are rife, the Longbeards remain solid and steady, and others look to them for direction and support, so they may have a sort of special rally ability to them possibly. Now you've also got the Hammerers, who are sort of a hard hitting shock unit. Now Hammerers are individuals from different units and clans who have proven themselves in measureless conflicts and have in recognition been assembled as an elite fighting force. And as you can see, CA have shown in the animation art, it will be interesting to see if the hammers themselves have a sort of area of effect to them when they smash into the enemies and the ground surrounding them as well. So it'll be interesting to see if that is the case. And finally there is the Ironbreakers, and a Creative Assembly is stated here. It says, for centuries the Dwarves have mined the ground beneath the mountains, attempting to appease the gold lust that all Dwarves share. In doing so, they have made a skyless network of cavernous chambers and labyrinth tunnels, reaching ever deeper into the ground. The full extent of the endless tunnels of the underway is unknown even to the longest bearded Dwarven scholars. In the fringes of this subterranean world, unnamed things scuttle in the solid darkness, testing the walls of the ancient holes for exploits. The Ironbreakers represent the single defence between these horrors and the holds the Dwarves inhabit. Without their unwavering vigilance, the remaining Dwarven held holds would have fallen to the enemy attacks long ago. The Dwarves barricade passageways that have become compromised by would-be invaders, but nevertheless the Ironbreakers are never at rest for long. Now I would imagine that these units will probably be, from what they've said, be late game, elite units, so we won't get to see them, I should imagine, early on in the campaign. However, the big thing to come from what Creative Assembly has said there for me, especially with the Ironbreakers being that kind of defence against horrors that linger in the deep, is potentially an altogether new type of battle mechanic here, with underground conflicts. We saw a couple of weeks ago that teaser showing a dwarf running towards a gyrocopter underground with what appeared to be a spider in the background, and that voiceover saying something stirs in the world edge mountains. So this is got me literally drooling at the prospect of underground battles, which, as I say, is a completely new concept, and again examples of this game really pushing the boundaries of what they could possibly plan for this title. Now of course, as I say, this is just me speculating but it does sound plausible. You know, it would be awesome, wouldn't it, if you could have and fight a battle both on land with an underground conflict happening at the same time, and mix that in as well with the all new flying mounts for good measure. That would just be an incredible spectacle. Could it happen? Only time will tell, but it does sound a possibility given the nature of the Dwarven race and what they stand for and what has been mentioned so far and shown. So maybe the trailer will reveal more, who knows, but it does sound very interesting indeed for what they've got planned with this. Now, what I love about the Dwarves is that they seem to mirror, in my opinion, the diversity of the actual Warhammer universe itself. And what I mean by this is that they're not only stout, battle-hardened warriors with their heavy armour and heavy damage abilities, but they are also, as I said earlier, great craftsmen, engineers, miners and inventors, particularly with siege equipment. And if you look at the tabletop, for example, they've created weaponry and siege equipment such as the organ gun, flame cannons, gyrocopters, bolt and grudge throwers, and I believe, tell me if I'm wrong with this one guys, but I think they designed the steam tanks for the Empire as well. So taking all this into account when looking at Total War Warhammer, it will definitely be interesting to see how the tech trees and research for the Dwarven race will be implemented into the campaign. I can see it being quite in depth, to be honest with you, so that will be another thing to look forward to. So even from what we've been shown so far, you do get that feeling that they are such a different race to the Empire, and it really does reiterate, in my opinion, Creative Assembly's vision that they are going for here, you know, with depth as opposed to width with the different factions on the game, so that every campaign really does offer a totally different experience from the other. And I'm very much looking forward to the finer details of how they will achieve this when some campaign gameplay comes out in the months ahead, hopefully. And also a couple of days ago, before CA released this introducing video, they gave us a bit of a background to the leader of the Dwarves, the High King Thorgrim, a grudge bearer, and they stated within this that he will possess the Great Book of Grudges, and it is Thorgrim's avowed wish to avenge every single entry contained in that voluminous tome, and he has already given hope to the Dwarven race to return them to their former glory, and he also brandishes the Axe of Grimnir. So with all this in mind, I wonder if that will influence a lot with how the quest chain for Thorgrim in the Dwarven campaign will be, much like Karl Franz's quest for Galmaraz. It also states he is able to uphold the ancient traditions as well as to accept, if not embrace, needed changes such as alliances and new technologies. So again, questions on how diplomacy will play out for them, with possible diplomatic events perhaps influencing the course of the campaign maybe. But yeah, Creative Assembly have really impressed me with the level of detail within this video, not only with the armour, which looks absolutely fantastic, and with that maybe armour upgrades will be prevalent as well in the campaign, but also the many variations of weapon types as well. So you know, that adds weight with all this extra level of detail that we've seen so far, that Warhammer possibly could be built on a very either heavily modified Warscape engine or even a brand new engine entirely, which will be able to take on all that extra load that Warhammer is going to offer, all that extra detail and variation basically. Anyway guys, that's where I'm going to wrap up this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tell me what you think about the Dwarves and if you're excited for them in Warhammer as much as I am. I must admit, I am very tempted to do a campaign on them when the game first comes out, so tell me below if you would like the sound of that. And I'm really looking forward as well, of course, to seeing more when Creative Assembly release that trailer that I mentioned in the near future, so keep your eyes peeled out for that. And of course the greenskins and vampire accounts when they are unveiled to us in the future. But before I go, let me leave you with this very important rule about dwarves.
Nobody tosses a dwarf.
Until next time guys, farewell.